As global leaders and business minds meet for the third day of this year's World Economic Forum meetings, the African Union is aiming to highlight the impact of the triple C's, namely conflict, climate, and COVID-19, on women in particular. CNBC Africa's Ridhima Sukla spoke to Bineta Diop, Special Envoy to the African Union on Women, Peace and Security, for more.
Please, to begin with, paint a picture for us with respect to how women have been poorly represented at WEF for the longest time. Has anything changed this year? How are you looking at it?
Let me just give you first a story, because I have been associated with WEF for more than 30 years, 30, in Davos, but also Cape Town, South Africa, and in Africa. When we start being civil society in the corridor, being maybe 2 or 3 women from Africa, we just say, but what is it? We cannot talk about economic growth, development without women at the table. So we were advocating for it. And we started with few issues, because you need to push by coming with concrete to the private sector. So we say, private sector, what's your interest on women issues? And they started by health, because the health of the workers is so critical. And we say yes, and the job, the skills, and so on. So we found entry point to be able to have that discussion with the private sector, because it was dominated mainly by private sector. Now we have more public sector, where women are also in public sector and private sector. So here, I think it's a work in progress, I would say. Professor Schwab have opened up to more civil society, because we all realize that WEF cannot continue without having the social platform. For civil society, for women entrepreneurs, for young women leaders, and that's why we have seen more number, but it's not sufficient. For me, it's not enough. The glass ceiling is still there, and I'm sure that surely, now that we need to reset the button after so many crises that we have experienced, the triple C, as I always call it, which is the COVID that impacted on many lives of
disproportionately for women.
For women, especially violence against women have been there. What we say, the shadow pandemic. We have also the climate change. We are just coming out from Sharm el-Sheikh. We know that we need to redouble our effort and invest more on green
so when
energy.
you say these things, redouble our efforts, especially on women-centric issues, and the fact that they are bombarded, with these triple threats, worse than men are, whether it is women entrepreneurs or it is a small-scale farmer. And since they make up a majority of this workforce, how are you representing those issues here at WEF?
Oh yeah, we have to be, and those who are around, and I have seen many of, in institutions or in private sector, and especially the young people, to say